Hi, good morning, Courtney.
Good morning, Ricardo.
We're
Bright
here
and
for,
early.
I know, right? It's an early edition of Force for Growth recording here.
Yes, so thank you everybody for joining us. Today we're going to be discussing the book The Dip by Seth Godin. So I'm excited to dive deep into this one.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all brought this to our group and we had an amazing discussion about it. But how did this impact you? What are your
It's
overall thoughts on the message?
it's interesting because we're programmed, especially in the world of self-development, we're programmed and taught not to quit, to grind it out, to push through, to keep pushing and to never stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this book, well, it says the opposite. It
How's the
tells
weird
you
reaction in your
It
body? You're like,
tells you that it's okay to quit. It tells you that it's okay to back off. It tells you that most of the winners give up, that they quit something. So let's break it down.
yes.
So the dip, the, the dip, the title of the book is a period or a time of struggle. That's what the dip is. So it goes through and explains why it's a bad idea to quit during the dip. And well, let me back it up a little bit. First, he says winners quit the right stuff all the time, right?
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a second. Winners quit the right stuff all the time.
Hmm.
What else?
Yeah.
People settle for good enough instead of the best in the world.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Being well rounded is not the secret to success.
Which is another conditioning thing. We've been told our whole life, add more skills, learn new skills. So it's very easy to misunderstand that one right there. But I really love it. It's like a rule book for when to quit. Like it's literally a manual for that gives you permission or just guides you to the clarity of it. So that
But it's
was
hard to digest.
it is.
It's hard to digest because again, we're in this world where grind it out,
Hmm.
don't stop, keep pushing forward, don't quit. And now here's this guy coming up and saying, "Hey,
You should. Why
it's
not?
okay.
Like, hey, here's
It,
how to
it,
decipher
it,
that.
it's okay to quit." Right?
Yeah.
But there are some rules around this. Let's be honest.
Yes.
And also, I want to make sure that we address the chronic quitters because that is not what this book is talking about.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't talk
Disclaimer.
about correct. It is not supporting or saying, okay, it's okay to be a chronic quitter. That is not what it's saying at all. So
Right.
if you're a chronic quitter and you're looking at this book and you're like, ooh, let me go buy it because it's gonna help me come up with a million more excuses on why it's okay for me to quit, we're not talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, yeah. If you're quitting something over and over and over, that means you're taking on things and just you're breaking your word to yourself. And just a reminder, that's how you make or break confidence is when you say you're going to do something to yourself and you do it or you don't. So for the folks that are chronic quitters, it's a hard pattern to get out of. Like it sucks, but you just have to flip it and get out of it and, you know, not take on so much because you're breaking your word with yourself. So, but I
One thing he
love,
talked about here is quit the wrong stuff, stick with the right stuff.
yeah, man,
Go ahead.
sticking with it. And yeah, no, he talks about so people settle for good enough instead of the best in the world. And
Mm,
I think that really is it's kind of something behind why society is so unhappy right now, right? And I think somewhere else, average is for losers. So either go for extraordinary or don't do it. And if you aren't willing to give it your all and shoot for extraordinary and be grateful where you end up, mm, you know, don't be average. And so that kind of hit me in the face where it's like average is for losers. And granted, nobody wants to be normal, but saying that if you have an average feeling and a so-so feeling when you're starting something, maybe have a few more filter questions to decide if you really need to start that because you clearly already don't want extraordinary. So for me, that's going to be a tool. average is for losers. That'll help me kind of decide in the moment when I hit the
There's
dip.
one thing that he says here that I disagree with, though. He says, quit if you're not number one,
Yeah.
which I will add the disclaimer here. What about keep going and act like you're number one
hmm
or act as if you're number one?
Number one to yourself too. Like,
Yes.
are you your number one, or are you looking up to someone else trying to get to be as good as them? That's not going for extraordinary within you. Granted, you can learn a lot from modeling the top in the business and the industry and things.
So again, the dip is when things are hard, right? When things are going down, a period of struggle. And he says here, knowing that you're facing a dip is the first step in getting through it.
hmm I love that. And that's kind of where I bring up the rule book, because it's like when you are in those moments of overwhelm and aren't sure, you can just be like, okay, wait, I've hit the dip. And so it just gives you practical steps to start looking at it. And so that's huge. I was going to bring that one up next. So I also love where he talks about it's human nature to quit when it hurts, but it's
Oh, it
the
is.
reflex that creates scarcity. So we could beat our human nature up for having the tendency to want to quit, but that's what creates extraordinary. That's what filters out average. That is what makes the best of the best in every individual part of our world. So I really like that, because it's not a reflex you need to beat up. It's one you need to go deeper on. Ask why, ask what, ask what are you willing to give in the moment or not, and just be honest with yourself. I think it breaks down to honesty with ourselves, and I think that's kind of the uncomfortable part this book brings up, is it's giving you the key to see what you really want. It's kind of like, oh, I haven't been being honest with myself. I've been lying to myself as well, saying I still wanted this, or I want this for this reason, and that's not true anymore. So it just, to me, is a book of permission. Like,
I
clarify
think
what.
that's an interesting thought. I think that's
Yeah.
interesting. So let's see, what else does he talk about? Let's go through the notes. Here we go. If you can't make it through the dip, don't start.
Yes, I love that.
If
Yeah.
you can't make it through the dip, don't even bother going for it.
Yeah.
According to the book here, there's no amount of grind that you can have, or relentlessness, which is one of our things here, right? Especially for me,
Yeah.
there's no amount of grind or relentlessness that you can go through that will help you with that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's a great one. Okay, he also says to be a superstar, you must do something exceptional, not just survive the dip, but use the dip as an opportunity to create something so extraordinary that people can talk about it, recommend it, yes, even choose it. So, when you become extraordinary, he talks a lot in the book about you get rewarded for a lot of things that you maybe can't see in the process or in the moment. Or if you're the first one to hit the goal, you get a lot of acknowledgement in the industry or whatever. So right there, if you can create raving fans all around you, it's just you can build up that support by you being extraordinary, because they'll support you, they'll refer you, they'll send people to you. So there's
Correct.
just channel the
Uh,
energy in the right direction.
all right, you ready? I got
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
The next time you catch yourself being average when you feel like quitting, realize you have two good choices: quit or be exceptional. Average is for losers.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Mic drop on that one. Yeah.
wow.
That's the one where it's averages for losers. I'm like, whew. If I say that to myself, that'll really tell me where I'm feeling. Yeah. Okay.
Average is for losers, Courtney Carr.
You
That's like
talk
some Tim
talk more to me
Grover,
about that
like
relentless
relentlessness,
Ricardo.
winning man mindset right there, dude.
Okay.
If you can't just go for it, if you're just gonna give up, if you're just gonna quit, if you just want to be average, dude, go somewhere else. I ain't got time for that.
Love it. Yeah. Okay. He said the dip is a long, slow slog between starting and mastery, a long slog that's actually a shortcut because it gets you where you want to go faster than any other path. And I love that. So, once again, permission. to do what you want. And if you do that, be extraordinary.
Yes, be extraordinary. You got to be extraordinary. I'm still on that last one. Averages for
I know. I
losers.
feel like steam's coming off you right now.
I know, like I'm just like getting all fired up here with that statement.
Yes. I love it.
Whew.
I love it. Okay. Whatever your goal, you need to confront a dip to succeed. Okay, wait, he said, let's see, jot down. So these are three lessons. So, whatever your goal, you need to confront a dip in order to succeed. So, if you haven't hit a dip, maybe you aren't even trying that hard enough, right? Yet. Number two, the rewards for being first are huge and even unexpected. Aim for them. If you want to be a winner in the long run, you'll have to master the art of smart quitting. So,
Ooh.
oh, to all you chronic quitters out there, just hold your hand up and say, I will not tell myself I am a quitter, I'm a chronic quitter, but that, and just get better at smart quitting. Like, you know, quit. It's such a simple concept. I feel like it's just kind of goes over our head and then we're so conditioned. So we argue our old story. But this was a really eye opening message for me. I enjoyed
Let
it.
me add real quick. Look at how thin this book is. It's a little. There's not much to it here.
Hmm.
It's a little book. Maybe let's see here. It is about 75 pages.
Wow.
It's a little jam-packed book though.
Those are
So
good
let
books for quick plane rides and things like that. All you
correct. This is a quick
traveling.
read. Winners understand that taking the pain now prevents a lot more pain later.
Mm, that isn't it. Yeah. That one's only something you learn when you're that deep on the journey, right?
It
You're
gets
in the
uncomfortable, guys. It gets uncomfortable, right? It's not always sunshine and lollipops, rainbows and lollipops, right? You're going to feel some pain, you're going to feel some discomfort, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's time to quit.
hmm
You're going through this pain now so you can avoid going through some pain later.
Yeah. And he breaks that down a little bit more. He says, actually, quitting as a short term strategy is a bad idea, not right away. And quitting for the long term is an excellent idea. So I really like that. Cut your losses, but don't misread a bad day as I should quit.
Or a bad moment.
Yeah.
Or what about a couple of bad days in a row, like a bad week?
Hello, test. It's just a brick wall set there to, that's a Randy Pausch quote, but brick walls are there to prove to you how bad you want it. So,
Or even worse, when you're just not having a bad day, but when you're being challenged, when you're getting uncomfortable, when you're getting pushed,
hmm
right?
in
Maybe
all
you're in a
directions.
situation where you're getting pushed a little bit to do a little bit more, and you ham and haw, and then you're like, okay, no, I'm not comfortable getting pushed in that direction. And then you decide to quit without even giving it a try.
Hmm That's not good for our self esteem. That's not good for our self love. All the trendy self, whatever we're working on right now, that type mindset destroys it.
Doesn't
So,
work.
no.
It doesn't work for
Quitting is
nobody.
better than coping because quitting frees you up to excel at something else.
Mm.
So, permission. I'm telling you, it's a running theme with this book. That's all I hear is just
But is
permission.
it really permission to quit? Sorry,
Well,
I
no,
got
I'm sorry, not
wonky.
permission to quit, permission to thank you for that distinction. Permission to do what you want, you know? Like, what if you didn't have everything on your plate that you do now? What if you could take half of it off and admit to yourself, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not passionate about this. Oh, that lesson, I already learned that lesson. I need to stop doing that, or I do this only for someone else to keep them happy, just really dissect it for honest reasons. And then you have all that room, all that time and space you can dedicate to what you want, permission for what you want. So that's what I mean to complete that thought. And so it's
Thank you.
by saying quitting is better than coping because quitting frees you up to excel at something else. Permission to excel at what you want to do, not all the bullshit we tell ourselves. We have to do this because everyone else does. We no, stop, stop. Tired of that trend. Yeah.
One more here about the dip. If you can get through the dip, if you can keep going when the system is expecting you to stop, you will achieve extraordinary results.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
just when it gets tough, there's some grit there.
Push,
Push
push.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And then
Another.
here's one thing that I'll add, okay? So let's say you go through the dip, you're going through the dip, you push through, you get to the other side. Okay, at that point, you can look back and see what you're doing, see where you were, and then make the decision to quit. Never quit during the dip.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely don't quit before when you see the dip coming,
Yeah. Give it a
right?
go. Like, give
Give
it
it a
a
go.
shot.
Get on the other side of the dip and then stop and look and say, hey, maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's time for me to stop.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a time for me to not do this again. I'm not really interested in this.
Yeah. One of my favorite, well, my ending final thought is that it is a dip. So it is not going to last forever. It is not going to be your path for the entire time you decide to do this, you know. So it is temporary. So it's going to suck, it's going to be hard, you're going to have to level up more than you even know, but then you'll get out of the dip and you will have mastered it.
Yeah.
So it's temporary. Oh, and I did want to mention the word try. Okay, this is one of our red words. So if you are talking about starting something and you're saying, I'm trying or I'm going to try, I would request or just urge you to look at different language, because if you say, I'm trying, it's giving yourself permission to fail before you even get started. So if you're saying, I'm trying on a lot of things that you really truly want to do, you might want to consider quitting. And I say that with love. But double, triple, tenfold down on what you do want to do, and stop using the word try if you're really passionate about it. So,
Hmm. Let's see. Jesse's bringing the comments. She says, to me, this book is another thing for quitters to use as an excuse why they quit. It could really be used into that. But, at the
yeah.
end of the day, so can anything. Anything self development, anything that we learn can be used as a tool to justify the reasons that we quit. And really, that's a whole other episode because we could totally go through the things that we've learned in the world of self development, twist them around and use them as excuses as we quit. That would be
Yeah.
an interesting episode, actually,
That
if we
would
put
be.
that
We
one
need to dive
together.
deeper on that. I do want to thank Jessie, because it was she that brought it up that caused a very meaningful conversation on one of our morning calls this week, where we talked about just kind of our own instincts and our own conditioning, and then relating that to everybody's kind of either successes or life story, and how that was related was really eye-opening. So it
It was
wasn't
good.
exactly, we didn't stay on the subject of the book the whole time, but yeah, we're conditioned to do this. Whether we're conditioned to succeed, we're conditioned to quit, we're conditioned to never quit, blah blah blah, fill in the blank. You can uncondition yourself and then reshape it into what you want. You just have to pay attention to it for long enough.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And then her friend Jesse also says, honestly, in quotes, I think the hard part is because people can lie to themselves.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing to add to that.
no, I think that's it. We can twist anything we read, see, hear, learn, and make it work in our favor.
Yes. Yes, we
We
can.
can justify quitting just as much as we can justify not giving up and winning and pushing through. We
Mhm.
can justify all of it, Courtney.
Yes. And she said, "Ain't nobody got time to be average." So, you guys, we ain't doing that. Love it.
This was an interesting. All right, so
This
guys, so
was.
make sure you go pick up The Dip by Seth Godin. I don't think it's a new book. I don't know. Jesse
Not
was
sure, when
gifted
did
this
it come
by
out?
Mr. Rob Bliss.
Ooh, what a great gift idea. That's a great gift. Yeah.
No, it's
Nurture.
2007, so it's
Okay.
not a new book by far. But these books and all this
So that
material
means
comes
pick
to us
them
at
up
different
from your half
times.
price books. If you use bookstores, that means you can find it at a great price.
You can. eBay,
Yeah.
go find it, read it, explore it, and see what it's about.
Yeah. Love the
All right,
concept.
guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Force for Girls podcast. Remember to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at
Force for growth. And always remember to be a force for good
A Force for Growth.
and a force for grace. Bye, everybody.
Oh, Courtney, it's your
Yes,
birthday week.
it is. Yes.
How's your week been?
It's been phenomenal. It's been very busy and a lot is going on. So I haven't stopped to really check in with myself, but I'll do that eventually. No, but it's still going in full swing. The office spoiled me yesterday. So we had our weekly meeting and so that was fun. And then yeah, still celebrating onto the weekend. So I get to see some folks. I'm going to go see my mom. My mom bought me a flight for my birthday. I get to go see her. And she lives in another state, and I get to go on an adventure with her in a few weeks. So I'm excited. Birthday week was phenomenal.
What state does she live in?
Colorado in this tiny
Ooh,
little town. And she, yeah, basically up in the mountains. So I'm really excited to go see those again. We snowboarded in April, so now I kind of just get to go explore the mountains. But there's a few spots. Creed, Colorado is one of my favorite towns I've ever seen in my entire life. It's at the bottom of this giant canyon. And when we went last year, it was too icy that you couldn't do a lot of the adventures we tried to go on. And so I'm going a lot later this year in the summer. So I'm excited to see some of those things. But really, it's just to see mama. Yeah, I'm
nice.
excited.
Ooh, so much fun. All right. I think
Yes.
that's it, Courtney Carr.
Yeah.
Birthday week wrapping up. You have a good weekend coming.
I
We'll see
do.
you
What are you guys up
tomorrow.
to?
Huh?
We have an exciting day tomorrow.
We
Yes.
do. We do. I just finished remodeling my office. As you can see, I have a new background here. I have my books back there and a few things, a few knickknacks. I'm putting on my knickknacks here and there.
They look good. They look
Yeah.
good. Is that I see Michael Jordan. Okay, so now that I'm paying attention, we got
Yep.
Michael Jordan back there. We got
Yep. There's
let's see,
Michael
is that
Jordan.
Superman behind your head? Who's on Yeah. Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Superman over there. And then I got like some of my favorite books over here. Jesse says, I need a
I
light.
do.
I
Yeah,
do. I
you can
probably
get some
need some.
spotlights on the tops of the, under the shelves, so it's kind of spotlight on everything.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. A little bit of work there, but the bulk of it is done. I got my stand up desk, so I'll be burning more calories throughout the day.
Do you like it
And
so
I
far?
so far so good. My back
Mhm.
feels better after one day using it. I think it's,
Great.
but I'll say this. I am a medical marvel, Courtney Carr. I don't know if you knew this about me or not, but I
Please
am a
don't tell
medical
me more.
marvel. Let me explain.
Okay.
And then, okay, let me explain. I'm just laughing because I've never said this in public.
I have no
But
idea what your wife is laughing at, so I'm like, "Oh, this is
so
good." Anyway.
whenever I take medicine or something like that, on the medicine bottles, it'll say take it for like 3 times a day for 7 days. I only have to take it for like 3 and I'm good.
Ah.
Because my body works so much faster than the average person's. So if I go to the gym, let's just say I go to the gym and hit the gym and hit the workout really hard. I come home and I look in the mirror and I already see muscles there. Again, because that's just how my body is. That's just how my mind works. Like
World, can
I
I
do
just
it.
say
Yeah.
the
See, like I
power of
just did.
conditioning and
Look, I just did
self-conditioning.
curls
Look
this
at how
morning, and look
powerful
at
it is.
that. Look at that. I just did weights this morning, and look at how much muscle I have already.
Look, your shirt busted. Yeah, there
I
you go.
know, right? After one. So when I say that I'm a medical marvel, that's what I mean.
Thank you for
My head,
explaining that
my
to me.
body is years ahead of modern science.
Okay, except for your wife is actually backing you up on this because I'm like, okay, wait, you're full of it. No, no, yeah, that's too
She
funny.
says
Okay.
here, let me just say what she says here. We're gonna paste a comment up here because it's after show chat. When he does one setup, he says, "Yep, I sure do."
Okay, well, now I believe it. But once again, isn't the power of self conditioning so great, you guys? See what he just did?
It is.
Now, they do say to take the antibiotics until the end of the bottle, okay?
They do,
But
but
hey,
again, I start to feel good. I'm like, boom, good.
yeah, yeah. Can't beat that wellness. Okay, we will
All
go.
right.
All right.
After show chat is done. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.